What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a phenomenal day. It's Trevor Foldering, your metabolic health specialist, with another metabolic debrief. Welcome to this debrief. Today, we're going to be talking about something really important when it comes to nutrition, is that not all nutritional protocols are for everybody, right? Everybody's got different goals, different biology, different reasons for fueling their body. And one of the things we have to realize is that if you're training, for example, for an endurance event, your nutrition is going to look a lot different than somebody who's trains for a weight training event or a bodybuilding event or a triathlon event, or even just for typical fat loss, right? The nutrition for fat loss is completely different for nutrition for somebody that's an endurance athlete. So we're going to definitely talk about that today, but just a reminder is that Monday through Friday, we're always online to give you the best metabolic advice to help you live the longest and to also help you lose the maximum amount of body fat and keep it off for life. So make sure that you join us every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. for these metabolic debriefs. Now, let's talk about nutrition because, again, everybody is completely different. See, I'm an endurance athlete. I used to be a bodybuilder. And so one of the things I realized is that when I'm an endurance athlete, I have to fuel my body a lot differently, right? So when I was a bodybuilder, I would cut down and I would lose a lot of body fat because I would reduce carbohydrates quite rapidly. I would decrease all the way down to about 15 grams of net carbs a day. As an endurance athlete, I fuel my body a lot differently, right? And that's the difference. So I have realized if I wanted to, for example, continue doing 10, 15, 20 kilometers a day as an endurance athlete, I need different fuel. So there's different reasons for my fueling protocol, right? So I increased my protein, I increased my fats, I made sure my calories came up, right? So I can actually train harder and recover faster. And that's the difference that most people don't realize. So for example, if you're trying to lose fat, this is one of the things that I teach my men over 40 is that first off, we have to create the conditions within your body to lose fat, right? So we have to create metabolic stability. What does that mean? Well, first off, we need to be eating 4 meals a day. So a lot of people don't realize that 4 meals a day spaced 4 hours apart was going to actually help you create metabolic stability. Stability in your body is going to help you or set you up for proper fat loss. Right? So if we don't eat 4 meals a day, if we're cutting calories, if we're skipping meals, if we're only eating, say, 1 or 2 times a day, we're creating metabolic instability and fat loss becomes forced and you're not able to lose fat very quickly. On the other hand, if you're an endurance athlete or if you're an athlete in general and you're cutting calories, it's going to be very hard for you to sustain your event and actually perform at a very high level, right? We can't cut calories when we're an athlete. We have to make sure to get the right combinations of fats, proteins, and carbs, hydrate really properly, get good sodium, good rest, good recovery, keep stress low so that we can perform at our best, right? So, and that also is for your body, right? Because if you're trying to get lean, if you're trying to lose maximum amount of body fat, right? If you have, like, for example, belly fat that you're trying to lose, you're gonna really fuel your body differently than if you, for example, are going to be running a 21.1 kilometer race, right? And that's going to change how your body looks. So, for example, this is how I looked back in 2016, right? So I was fueling my body a lot differently because I was leaner, and actually I've been leaner than this. It's very hard with the lights, but I'll show you exactly how I looked back. This is way back in 2016. So this is that's like 10, 12 years ago. But now I have a softer look. So I'm not as lean. I'm not as super ripped because that's not what I train for, right? I'm not training to be like super jacked and super ripped. So that's the difference. My training has evolved, right? So my physique has to evolve. So I'm not super jacked or ripped anymore. I'm a little bit softer, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just because I'm fueling my body differently so that I can actually achieve higher performance, right? And that's the difference. So you have to have a very specific nutritional protocol for your goals and your biology. You have to set yourself up properly so that when you're fueling your body, you can actually achieve the goals that you want to achieve, right? So that's the biggest thing, right? That's why nutrition is so nuanced, right? We can't have blanket statements saying, cut collagen, or, collagen is no good, or, you need to make sure that you cut carbs down to 20 grams of net carbs, or you have to increase protein to 200 grams, right? Those are blanket statements that really don't mean much to the general population because nutrition is so nuanced and everybody has different goals, right? You have different goals. Jack has different goals. Mary has different goals, right? Everyone has these different goals. And also biology is we have the same biological needs, but your body gets affected differently by the foods you eat, right? So somebody could be affected differently from, for example, maybe they have 5 ounces of protein, but somebody who has 5 ounces of protein may be affected completely differently, right? So we have to be very careful with nutritional protocols. And that's why in our system, what we really focus on is giving you very specific nutritional protocols for your body, right? We work with you one-on-one to make sure that you actually have very specific nutritional protocols in place. We have templates as you follow, but we actually personalize it even further. So for example, if you're an endurance athlete or if you're into strength or bodybuilding or whatever it is, we personalize it so that you can get the right fats and proteins into your body. So anyway, for focus today, what I want you to focus on is very simple. Look at your nutritional protocol and look at your goals. Do they match? Right? So for example, if you're trying to lose body fat, right, we can't cut calories. So if you're like skipping meals, if you're not taking in the right amount of protein, if you're cutting your carbs way too low for your body's needs, that's the issue, right? So we have to have a very specific nutritional protocol for you, right? We have to set yourself up properly so that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And nutritional fueling is very different for very different goals, right? Nutritional fueling is different for somebody that's endurance athlete versus somebody that's a strength athlete versus somebody that's a recreational athlete versus somebody that's a world-class athlete, right? Different goals, different nutrition. Right? So that's what I wanted to talk about, guys. It's super easy, but I want you guys to understand that. And one of the things I really would love for you guys to do is track your food. Track your nutrition over a 3 or 4 day period and see how your body is actually affected. And I want you to listen to your body, right? So what I mean by that is I want you to listen to your metabolic signals, right? Your hunger signals, your craving signals. I want you to listen to your energy signals. I want you to listen to digestion. Are you digesting your food properly, or are you bloated, right? Do you have high energy or low energy? Do you get cravings or no cravings, right? Do you get hungry, or are you fine for 4 hours, right? Do you get hungry an hour after you eat and then get cravings and then have an energy crash? Or do you feel good over 4 hours and you feel great and you have high energy and no cravings, right? You should be tracking these metabolic signals so that you can understand how your nutrition affects your body. That's the key. That's the key. That is the key to actually understanding how nutrition actually affects your body. Because most people are just flying blind. They're just flying blind and they eat whatever the fad is, right? The keto fad or the Mediterranean fad or the vegan fad. They eat based on fads, right? And that doesn't work because obviously you're not listening to your body and you're just going off what the internet says, right? And we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to fuel our body based on what the internet says or what the newest fad is, right? It doesn't make sense, right? Because then we really are not listening intuitively to our body. We're not creating actually really good metabolic stability. And then we're not going to get our goals, right? We're not going to achieve anything that we want to achieve. And then it becomes very frustrating. So one of the things is I want you to track your nutritional intake for 3 days. And then I want you to report back either in the comments or in this group how your metabolic signals are, right? Are you having no cravings? Do you feel great? Do you have high energy levels? Are you recovering properly? How is your sleep? Right? All of those things are super important. Okay, so that's all that I wanted to chat on. But in our metabolic operating system, we have an amazing program called the 15-Day Metabolic Reset. And essentially, it's a very good program that helps you understand how to lose body fat efficiently without dieting, without going to the gym, or without taking the shot. You know what I'm talking about, right? The shot. Right? So this is a great program for people that are not actually in our metabolic operating system. So our metabolic operating system is a comprehensive program that allows you to lose body fat really efficiently over the next 6 months. But this 15 days is just 15 days. So you can get an understanding of what we do. So there's going to be a link underneath this video here so that you can jump into that metabolic reset and actually reset your metabolism so you can lose body fat efficiently. All right. So that's it for me. Just remember that nutrition is different for everybody. Everybody's biology is a little bit different, so it requires different fueling. Everybody's goals are a little bit different, so we require different nutritional protocols. Okay, so that's pretty much it for me, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just drop them underneath this video. I can't wait to continue our metabolic debrief discussions every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Let's continue to rebuild your metabolism. All right, we'll chat with you guys soon. Okay, bye for now.